Three. Part three. Mercedes? Oh, okay. Dr. Mobius, thank you for the follow on Twitch as well, by the way. Freeze interval, yeah.
Oh, chat, you haven't been able to hear me because my mic was muted. God damn it.
Oh, no.
Let me do it. We'll have to do it again then, won't we? No, I can't be bothered. Anyways, welcome back, chat. It's part 3. You know how it is. You've all been watching already. And I'd like to welcome Zeta into the box alongside me for the next hour or so before our wonderful Scottish Mac comes back to take over for the last hour. For the last 2 hours of commentary this evening. Zeta, how are you doing?
Pretty knackered, having just jumped out of doing a double.
Yeah, absolutely, that is totally fair enough. How was the car for you across that double stint? I believe you are in one of the GT2 cars, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we're in 666, the KTM. When it wasn't being beaten up by all the overtaking cars, and everybody was supposed to be leaving you alone lapping you, it's quite fun. It is properly hectic out on track.
It's also quite fast, isn't it, as well, the KTM? It's isn't it the fastest? I think, Ollie, you done some testing, didn't you? Was it the KTM or was it the Mercedes
I did testing the Mercedes as fastest in a straight line. The KTM isn't far behind, though, because it has that very, very sleek body styling. So although it doesn't have the most horsepower, it is very, very efficient in terms of its drag coefficients.
I would say, if you could set it up correctly, it's probably one of the fastest through the corners, but it's probably the slowest in a straight line.
Right, okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting indeed. It sounds nuts as well.
It's far and away the lightest of all of them. And it's... I mean, we went with it because it was the closest... vaguely closest handling to a GT3 and didn't take too much effort to get a setup into. Having not had that time to practice between all three of us.
Yeah, I can imagine. How much practice have you had then, if you don't mind us asking?
Not enough. I think I've had a couple of hours last night.
Not enough is such a real response to that question. I love that.
It really is. There is... I mean, we've done a couple of endurance races here and there at various points, and the speed of the drivers that turn up for it are another level to those that turn up for your normal weekly league races.
Of course, yeah.
And you would, to some degree, you would think they should be better at dealing with back markers. However, I don't think they're entirely used to dealing with them because they drive with people that are equally as quick.
Yeah.
So when you're... there are times when it's just, I can't make my car disappear. There is a train of cars coming up behind me and there's nothing I can do. So that is, you are spending as much time looking in your mirrors as you are looking forward, if not more.
Yeah,
no, that is interesting. That is interesting. Dr. Mobius says go car 42, so I'm not sure where they are on track.
40...
Car 42 currently.
I mean, it's a good one.
P5. That is the Mercedes and Wilson, the GT3.
Yeah, it is absolutely.
They are flying. They're doing a cracking job in that GT3. Not as good as Ben's in the Porsche, but still having a couple of GT3s in a mix around a sprinkling of GT2s is very interesting indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, chat, I just want to show you quickly. I'm just going to show you why the GT2 and the GT3 cars are so mixed up. So here we've got P15 and P16. Look how close that Ferrari was through the apex of the final corner, and now the GT2 is out of shot, coming down the straight towards turn 1. On the brakes into turn 1, we'll see the GT2 appear again. There he is. And now the GT2 will perform another disappearing act on the run to turn 3. So the thing is, and this is why the cars are all so close to each other, is the 555 car has gone around. Oh, pulled over to the right-hand side. Maybe some damage on that car. Is that car... It doesn't look...
It's not cracking in a straight line.
Is it not? Have we got some crabbing going on? Oh, indeed we do.
Yeah, I don't think that's going in a straight line anymore.
Oh dear, yeah, that looks very broken.
That has had a hefty hit, I would suggest, on the front left corner.
Yeah, somebody...
In fact, probably on both. It looks like it's gone nose on.
Probably a fooling somewhere.
Probably, you're probably right with that. Yeah, but it looks like they're managing to get back to the pits, aren't they? Yeah, they're doing okay with that.
So yeah, basically, chat, the problem is the GT3s have quite a lot of horsepower, but they also have quite a lot of aero. So in a straight line, they're not particularly efficient. Top out 270, probably you could get them to 280 if you really wanted to, and had them on low downforce and next to no fuel. The GT2 cars quite comfortably reach 295 kilometers an hour in a straight line, and they accelerate out of the corners like they've got rocket fuel coming out of their exhaust pipes. It is ridiculous how fast these cars are in a straight line. So the GT3 cars catch up in every braking zone and through every corner, but the second you can point a GT2 car in a straight line and get on the loud pedal, you will gap a GT3 by easily 3 or 4 tenths in a straight line, if not more. And that is why we've got such a mixed bag in terms of where the grid is currently positioned.
No, it is fun to see the grid so mixed over this period. I mean, we still got, I'm not even sure how long we've got left. We've got 3.5 hours left to go in this race, so we're just coming up to halfway, and yeah, the mix is still pretty strong. The mix is good. The mix and blend is good.
I think some of it is, particularly when we had a look on SimGrid, is the caliber of driver that have jumped in the GT2 versus those that have jumped in the GT3s.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that says something massive about the GT2 driving experience. They are not easy cars to drive, because to get the best out of them, you need to have the TC set to next to nothing, which when you've got 700 horsepower being driven through 2 relatively skinny rear wheels is not an entertaining experience.
No.
And B, you're trying to slow down that 700 horsepower into every corner with relatively little aero, a rear wing that's essentially just a long piece of wood, rather than anything that's actually particularly aero effective. And you don't have like the massive splitters you see on a GT3 car, and the massive the tunnels that come out the rear of the car, the diffusers, not on a GT2 car. So they are not easy cars to drive, and I think the caliber of driver that we've had sign up to racing these GT2 cars says a lot about that.
Yeah, it's definitely a car that you need to do a hell of a lot of practice, and hasn't been much practice since obviously the release date of the said DLC update plus the new track as well. So everybody really has had limited practice time.
Well, I mean, looking at it, the GT2 DLC released less than 2 weeks ago.
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe just more, somewhere around that 14-day period.
24th, wasn't it, of January, or was it 25th of January? It was around that time, I think.
It was the 24th, because I got paid the next day. Yeah. So it's only been it's been 12 days since the DLC was released.
Yeah.
And we've already got this event up and running, and that is what we talk about when we say that no one has particularly had time to get to grips with these cars. The learning how to drive them quickly takes time, because there is nothing like them. Nothing like them.
No, I agree. Totally agree with that statement. 100%. Kai, are you watching car 211? Was that?
With the almost lunge into turn 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I'm actually. Yeah. That was. Yeah. Oh. One of those classic Ollie commentary noises.
Yeah, well, he's lifting now, which is fine, which is good. It's good to see. But there's just the back markers just seem to be everywhere. There's never a
dull moment on track at the moment. Absolutely.
No.
Yeah, great minds think alike and all that, but it is just utter chaos right now.
Yeah, it is, and it's been like chaos for the last 3 and a bit hours, or 2 and a bit hours. Sorry, like it's just been constant the whole time. Like it's just insane.
It's exactly the same out on track. As much carnage as it looks like, it is exactly the same when you're down that. It's just non-stop.
So to spruce things up a bit, we do have somebody sitting in the waiting room. Toby, I'm pretty sure they're car 551.
They've disconnected.
Oh.
They had a disconnect, so I'm not sure whether that is to have an interview or whether it's to try and tell you that they've disconnected and if you can do anything about it. So maybe you want to move to the interview waiting room and talk to them.
Let me do that.
Okay.
On that note, I'm going to move back to the dungeon.
Absolutely. Have fun, Dexter. Head steward, number 1.
Enjoy. Have a hug. It sounds like you're going to need it or needed one.
I need many things, don't you worry. Sanity is one of them.
A very stiff drink.
Be fair. Like,
well, that just leaves me and Zeta ready to take you through what will be about the next, just over the next hour of this race here in the Rebel Ring in Austria. Obviously a beautiful track. One of the faster lap times for GT3 cars. 1 minute, you're looking at about 1 minute 27 to a 1 minute 28 lap time if you're in that kind of top echelon of drivers.
Current best lap is 28.2?
Yeah, I believe that was set by Dexter. Oh, contact! Rafael Kanika, who was in P4, has just been hit. No, he's just hit someone else.
Ooh, dear.
Up the inside into, I believe that would have been turns... It was, I think, possibly one of the... it was turn 5, I believe. A left-hander just at the start of Sector 2. Indeed it was.
Breathe. On what's past the corners and what's not on this track. Because there's the kink that runs down the top straight that's classed as turn 2 because there's a chicane in the middle of it that exists sometimes.
Yeah, that was guy in 551. They had a disconnect on the server. They just basically wanted to let us know that thank you for hosting the event, but they had some gremlins somewhere along the line, and when their drivers had a disconnect, so they're going to decide to retire the car. They were very...
Sorry, contact with David Moxo getting hit from behind. I believe that's a GT3 that's trying to lap him, or is it David Moxo that went into the back of a GT3 and Audi? I think it was.
No, is it the 921 Ferrari, isn't it?
Yeah, the 921 Ferrari just got a little sniff at the back of the, I believe that's the 555 Audi machine.
Interesting.
Indeed it was.
Was it? Jeez.
Yeah, just a little bit of a sniff. Nothing bad. Just some slight rear end contact. It didn't cost the 555 car any time or positions.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, just a little tap. Again, just it's so difficult having not raced these cars against each other on track. The GT3 cars and the GT3 drivers are still having to feel out those differentials in braking and differentials in straight line speed and how quickly they can take a corner compared to a GT2. So things are still just being felt out by a couple of drivers at the moment.
Just having the collars felt. Right, I need to bounce, so I'll be back in an hour's time.
297 on the Audi GT3 into the first corner. That was a lunge, a dive, and all went wrong.
Oh, has he just taken out the Audi GT2 that he was racing, the 555 car?
No, it was pink Maserati.
Yeah, the pink Maserati, but did he...
no, it was...
Rafael Canepa.
Orange was the Audi that got hit. Just trying to find which...
It was Rafael Canepa who's running in P3, the 297 car.
Anyway, guys, I need to bounce.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you very much, Ollie, for stepping in. Zeta,
don't you worry.
sorry we couldn't do commentary together today because obviously my internet was a bit poo, but maybe next time once this internet sorts itself out, we'll be able to do comms together at one point at some stage.
It is fine. It is fine. Have a nice sorting out of technical issues.
Well, I'm actually not. I'm actually going to cook with some dinner, and then I'll be back ready to finish the last few hours with Mac at the end of the race. So I'll be back in a little while to give Mac some moral support. Let's not ride on board with Mac too much, otherwise he might fall off when he comes in for his stint. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in a little while. Thank you very much.
No worries. Have fun.
Cheers. Thanks, Ollie, again, mate. Legend.
Yeah, no worries about it, man. So at the moment, a little bit of a slowdown. That's a lie. We've got a battle coming now, P9. I don't know if that's a move that's been made or a move that's looking to be made by Timothy Istomin. I believe that is a move that's been made actually by Jonathan Seville.
Yeah, I was going to say that's gapping out. The speed of that car is going some.
Yeah, 28.295 last time out. That is better than everyone in front of the 192 car. They were the fastest car in the top 9 last time out. No, that's a lie. They've come out of the pit lane. I'm looking at their best lap time overall. Sorry, just completely spreading misinformation on the internet.
Their last was 28.9.
A 2:28.9. I believe they were in the pit lane last time out.
Sorry, yeah, there's a pit lap. They were. That would also explain why they are a lap down. So they will be fighting to get back up to speed and get back up onto that lead lap.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a battle coming for P5 though as well, between the 500 and the 52 car. As that's a Polish last name. I'm so sorry. I'm going to call you Pavel. I'm going to call you by your first name because I don't get along with Polish last names. The letters don't make the sounds I'm expecting them to, and I don't want to call you the wrong name. As yeah, the number 500 car looking to get past Daniel Hearn from Onid Racing. Gap is 0.2. Of course, the other side effect of these GT2 cars having relatively low aero is that they don't give that much of a slipstream.
They follow really easy, but not. They punch a reasonable sized hole because the cars aren't small. But yeah, there's not a huge amount to drag you up behind them.
It's less about how much outwash they're causing and more the fact that you have got a family-sized car in front of you.
Yeah.
And look who's tagged onto the back of this now as well. The other Forza Italia.pl e-racing team of Lucian Protnica. I can say that one because it makes sense in my head. The 501 car tagging onto the back of this battle as well, and Daniel Hearn's got to watch out. If he puts a step wrong here, he's going to be losing 2 positions to the 2 Maseratis currently behind him, and he's put a foot wrong there. The 500 car sneaks a nose up the inside, gets past on the apex through turn 9.
No, shuts the door on 501 who goes in the pit.
501 goes straight into the pit lane. That feels like a bit of an early stop. I was wondering actually, how long do these GT2 cars manage to run on a full tank of fuel? Do they manage to do a 65-minute stint?
The KTM was running a full. We ran 120 litres and there wasn't any issue doing 65 minutes. Nice,
yeah. That's what I want to hear.
It might have just been because we were hanging on to a car that was getting a bit beaten up. Is the tyres, the fronts can fall off. The front end really can fall off quite quickly, right on that 65 minute mark, which can make the last 3 or 4 laps or so a bit dicey. Not that these cars have a huge amount of...
Got a move coming for P21, possibly Maurice Sachsenheimer from Fast Lane Racing, looking to get past Bertold Limpar from H3ML Esports team.
I was about to say, there is Angel and Kanov are very close together on each other. The KTM on the Audi are also getting pretty close together and getting a bit lively on track. Although the KTM has got a very good drive out that corner compared to the Audi onto the main straight and has run away.
Just open that gap a little bit more again. Yeah, absolutely.
It really is. These cars, the GT2s are a really interesting car to drive because unlike the GT4s, they don't require quite so much momentum through the corners. So they really do, in terms of teaching fundamentals for a new drive. Ooh, that was
dear.
The KTM on the Ferrari got right up under the rear wing, tagged the back of the Ferrari, and stacked everything up.
Which Ferrari is that that's gone around?
I am not sure. That is
Trying to find out.
40.
So many.
777. Wherever that one was. Machini?
Yeah, Munchie. I think Munchie.
Munchie, that's the one. Sorry,
Yeah,
I am
Munchie.
spectacularly dyslexic. I do wholly apologise about brutally murdering people's names.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that is probably going to be a report, I would have thought.
I would expect so, most likely, yeah.
I did notice that on the grid earlier, there are a couple of single driver entries into this race as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to bring something up really quickly just before we get into that, is that Jonathan Seville, out on a brand new set of tyres and a new tank of fuel, has just gone fastest overall this whole race, the first man into the 127s. He was
wearing a hat, I would take it off.
He was 2 seconds faster than anyone else ahead of him that last lap, apart from the 500 car, who he was about a second and a half faster than. So he is making massive dents in these lead cars' times at the moment.
I wonder if that was hit for a little bit of damage, reset a strategy, and then keep going.
Possibly. It did feel like a little bit of an out of kilter pit stop.
Yeah. Also, it may be a bit of, certainly those fighting at the top end. There's potentially certainly, obviously, we've got the crew from Onid turning up. I raced with them. We're on some of their events before, and they are a really organised bunch of people. So I wouldn't be surprised if anybody in a similar situation with a big team probably has somebody behind the wall, as it would be, running strategy. So if it's entirely possible there is back timing going on to try and make sure they get their last pit stop done first, but the shortest possible amount of time for it. So if you've picked up damage and you can do something a bit funky and not lose too much time now, that time can come back to you towards the end by being out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just on fresh tyres, but also on fresh tyres up to temperature, because that's a big thing with these the GT2s versus the GT3s, is they don't have tyre warmers, much like the GT4s. So you go out there, and if the weather was colder, it would be really sketchy.
Yeah, but at the same time, if the weather was any hotter, then the tyre wear would be, well, pretty much unbearable.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure the end of my last stint, I had a bit of a spin and locked up brakes, and I think I gave myself a pair of slow punctures in the front because they were so worn.
That is unideal.
Yeah, so I spent about the last 15-20 minutes of my stint driving around with tyres that weren't really inflated on the front. I wouldn't recommend it. It understeers like an absolute arse.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do have to say, I think, though we've got to remember that, especially with these...
Yellow flag, 20...
It's number 40 car again.
Did they loop on
That's
their own?
Aaron's. I will have a look in the race control. I've not got a registered contact in race control, so I think that might be a solo spin. There, in fact, that car not moving at all. We got contact. We got a problem at turn 1 as well. Number 81 car I saw flash up. Indeed, it was Limpar, the 81, and I think it must have been the 7. That's not the 729. There's a 7 something in front, 720.
720. I don't have your first name, and I really don't want to butcher that surname.
I can't even find the number 720 car. There it is.
21st,
Oh, that's
the
Moritz
two cars
Sachsenheimer
were
again.
racing each other by the look of things position.
Yeah, Moritz Sachsenheimer. Yes, they were racing each other. You're absolutely right. Those are the guys I was talking about earlier in the battle for P21. Have now taken each other out. And we've got another battle just inside the top 10 as one of the Mercedes AMG GT2s is looking to get past Eastomin as well for P9. The Mercedes AMG, not the car of choice, particularly in the GT2 class. It is one of the fastest in a straight line, if not the fastest in a straight line.
Oh, by far and away. I think it's the only car that breaks the 700 horsepower mark, and I think it breaks it spectacularly at about 720.
Yeah, it's around that 720, 725 mark in terms of horsepower. So it does just go in a straight line. If you're wondering how much it goes in a straight line, I tested it. I took all of the aero off, slammed it as close to the ground as I could, and took it to a certain circuit that we like to call Paul Richard, which has the longest straight out of a relatively high-speed corner in ACC, until we get the Nürburgring Nordschleife, that is, at which point, obviously, I'm going to take it to the Dottinger Höhe and see if I can get it to do F1 speeds.
I reckon you might get pretty close to 200 with that.
The GT2 Mercedes AMG hit no less than 302 kilometers an hour before I had to get on the brakes for the right-hander at the end of the long straight.
Yeah, that's a terrifying prospect going into senior at that speed with that little arrow.
It's a terrifyingly large number to hear, isn't it? Especially when, as I said earlier, you've essentially got 2 pieces of paper as brake discs.
Yeah. They really do just... It certainly wouldn't have been my choice of car for here. I think if we were running Paul Ricard, Monza,
Spa, possibly.
Yeah, it certainly would punch up through the Camel. Getting it through Radeon might be a little interesting, but as long as you can keep your foot vaguely in it, you'll be fine.
Radeon could certainly be interesting. I tested the Mercedes actually through there. The GT2 cars, and I can tell you this from experience, having driven the Mercedes at Paul Ricard, it's going to be interesting through Eau Rouge and Radeon if we ever drive these cars at Spa. It will be interesting.
Yeah. Just going back to a slightly earlier point that we were making, I do think these cars though will be very good because they're so fast in a straight line and have very little aero. They are very good, I think, for beginner drivers. I know that sounds weird considering they are ballistically quick in a straight line, but it teaches you the fundamentals of cornering really well. Because you don't have much aero, you don't have much grip, mechanical grip as well, you have to make sure you've got the car properly slowed down into the corner so you can get it turned in and then get on the power. It's a proper slow in, fast out way of having to drive the cars, and you see that here with just the way the GT3s just motor up behind you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, these cars are they are so, for a car that has so little aero, they are very front end dependent. You need to be able to get the noses into the corner so that you can be in a straight line as soon as possible, so that you can unleash the ridiculously large number of horsepower being produced by the various sizes of engine that we've got across these cars. I think the Maserati... Is the Maserati a V10? I feel like we've got a V10 in one of the cars.
No, twin-turbo V6.
I swear there's one that's got a crazy engine, and I can't remember which car it is.
The KTM has the 2.5 litre 5-cylinder out of the Audi, and it's producing somewhere just under 600 horsepower from 2.5 litres.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Mercedes, I believe, is the same powertrain that they use for the GT3 car, is it not?
No, it's actually the GT4 engine technically, because it's the 4 litre twin turbo. which also goes into like a lot of the GT3 grid, basically with any kind of boost restriction removed. The other thing to note with these is a lot of them are pretty much road cars that have had a roll cage and slips added.
Yeah, that is the level of aero that we're talking about. And basically,
these really are the Mercedes you can genuinely buy with treaded tyres. It might have a roll cage option. I can't remember. I would have to check.
There's possibly a track pack option. Yeah.
Yeah, essentially this is an optional extra pack that you can buy for your Mercedes. They can fit it from factory and you can just go and drive it.
Oh, we might have a change coming on the overall podium here. As Luke Wilson for Poggers Racing is closed up massively to the back of Rafael Canica from Brazil in the Cronus Racing team car. I think this might be due to traffic.
It looks like that might be back market induced as well.
Yeah, I think possibly traffic has had a bit of a hand to play in this one. Oh, as Gleb Zygar went for the move there on the inside of East Home, and it didn't come off that time. He's now on the outside coming into turn 5, but that means he might be able to take a better line later on. Car 84 has gone around.
It looks like just trying to rejoin after getting it a bit sideways out the first corner. Are you okay?
He's sat in the grass. Don't know if he's just waiting for people to go past, but at the moment he's just parked up in that grass. I don't know if there's damage on that car.
Yeah, that's... There we started moving again. I think might just be a bit nervous with all the amount of traffic that we've got on this side.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 43 cars by the looks of things still running. And trying to get back on track if you've had a moment as we see some penalties for drivers coming through. I probably need to go and check with Mac at some point what is going on, because I now don't have a clue. Where is... They are not moving. I think they're trying to, but there is just a steady stream of traffic going past. This must be so painful to be sat in that car now, just watching yourself drop down the leaderboard as everybody goes past.
I think there's been another issue. So in my live timing on, they've just gone back to the pit lane. So I think something else has happened there. So on my ACC race control, the name that I've got in the car is Nabil. So I believe they've just come into the pit lane because the driver who's actually in the car is Khaled Hassan. So I don't know if maybe they've missed something in the pit stop, maybe they've forgotten to put fuel in the car, forgot to change the tyres. But they are now back in the pit lane and retired from the race. They have disconnected.
Oh,
so something serious has failed there. I'm not sure what's happened, but something has gone majorly wrong for those guys just then.
Especially having got past the halfway mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just inside the halfway mark now. And now we've got a whole bunch of battles going on in the across the field.
We got on here.
Battle for P3, battle for P8, battles for P12 and 13. As Gleb Zygar goes for the move into turn 3 again, but it doesn't come off.
I'm gonna stick with that. Car 69 Ferrari and car 500 are 500. Hang on.
Yeah, it is car 500.
Is it those two that are very close together?
Yes,
yes,
yeah,
it is. Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Jeremy
there was some stuff that went across the line. My brain hasn't quite caught up.
So Jeremy Cuss getting passed by Mateus that's in the sister Forza Italia car, the number 500. So they've lost time in their pit stop sequence to the 501 car, who have now also made their pit stop around the 3-hour mark.
That must be. I'm assuming that's either. I didn't see any penalties because I've been keeping an eye open for that, so I'm just guessing that is a small amount of damage that they need to get fixed. To keep them in it.
Possibly so.
10 seconds for 69. I'm just looking at the.
Yeah, car 69
panel.
with 10 seconds. Torza as well in P23 with 10 seconds, and the car behind them, Owens, with 10 seconds as well. I think behind that, the next car with a penalty is Sakai in the AF Corsa Ferrari, the 777 car. They've got a penalty as well. Oh, there's changes here. What's happened? Oh no, it's just Lazar losing a lot of places, the number 91 car, but I think that's just because he's on his way out of the pit lane.
I was gonna say that looks like there is some outgoing traffic from the pit. We've got Forward just coming in for their pit stop. Those things trying to find the pit bay, and they have stopped. Keep half an eye on what's going on with them, whether that's going to be a nice simple short stop or whether they're going to have a slightly more lengthy one to make. Drop down a place, it's down to 30 seconds. 360 Richer yet to come through, which is the next car on the position.
I'm just having a look. It's going to be interesting. Let's see whether Gleb Zygar goes for a move again. The number 88 car. He's looked up the inside into turn 3 the last couple laps. This time it's not going to happen. But the Maserati ahead goes very deep. He's not going to have a great drive. The Mercedes horsepower might make the difference here. Indeed it is. You can see that Mercedes just inching and nose ahead. Now he's at the half. Quarter panel. The Mercedes is almost clear of the Maserati. On the brakes into turn 4. The Mercedes is not great.
Over that.
A little bit of side-by-side contact, that's nothing really. The Mercedes couldn't have really been any further on the inside than that. The Maserati driver might be annoyed, but the Mercedes really didn't do anything wrong there.
No, everybody lives to fight another day, and sometimes giving up the odd position here to then come back later, just say giving yourself a ton of damage is not the worst thing to do.
Absolutely. Luke Wilson boxes from P5. No, he boxes from P4 actually. He was fighting with Kaneka, wasn't he?
Yes.
So he boxes from P4. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out. I tell you what I'm interested to see is when Kuryu Benz boxes. Because obviously if they've been managing, and in that Porsche I'm assuming they have been managing to run full 65-minute stints, then I would expect him in about 6 minutes time. If my maths is right.
That would, you'd have saved the 10-20 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. You would have saved 5 minutes the first hour, 5 minutes the second hour.
5 minutes the third hour, 5 minutes the fourth hour, so yeah, you'll be 20 minutes in. No, 15 minutes in. So,
yeah, so he'll be boxing in about 6 minutes time, I would expect, 6-7 minutes time. And Luke Wilson, having boxed, is now car being driven by Samuel Holsworth, as you can see. He comes out in P12. So that is a long way down, and all of these cars in the top 3 you can see still need to make their pit stops because they are now, well, effectively, they aren't actually, but they might as well be a lap ahead.
we have Oligan, car 22 Maserati, is, I'm not sure if that pass just happened or are being caught by, sorry, are catching car 82. By the looks of things, they are catching 82, so this could get lively very shortly.
I'm trying to find the cars that you're talking about, but I can't.
30th and 31st.
Ah, that would be why.
Scroll down to the right page on your time sheet.
Yeah, Tim Van Vakel in the Clean Vigor Racing car. getting caught, I believe, by Oligan in the LP racing car. But we will wait and see on that front. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, I can't see the information of when people last came into the pit lane. So we are going to have to wait for that information to turn up. Oh, I tell a lie. They've only saved 5 minutes in the pit lane so far. This is only going to be the second pit stop of the race. No, that can't be right.
How on earth? We're over 3 hours in. This will have to be the third stop.
Okay, so everyone in the top 10 still needs to make their second pit stop of the race.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Ah, here we go. That's why I wanted the stint timers. So, Kiryu Benz is at 1 minute, 1 hour and 1 minute. Second place, the 888 car is at 1 hour and 2 minutes. Kaneka is at 1 hour bang on. Daniel Hearn in P4 is on 1 hour and 3 minutes. And
Ooh.
Morgan in the number 9 car is on 1 hour and 2 minutes. So we can expect those guys in between the next 2 and the next 5 minutes. They'll need to be into the pit lane. And yes, so Seville, I'm going to guess it is actually rather than Seville, is only 25 minutes into his stint. But he's going to gain a lot of track position against these guys in the top 5 when they all eventually come in for their pit stops, as P2 does right now into the pit lane.
I think their out of sync pit stop was a really good call.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out towards the end of the race.
Yeah.
And P2, P3 and P4 are all into the pits. Going to be interesting to see. Does Callum Morgan follow them? I think he has to. He doesn't. That's interesting. I don't think he's got long enough left on his stint timers to do another lap. He will just about get back round again, but it is going to be pretty close. So the game is now. So Jonathan Seville is going to genuinely be. I think he's going to genuinely be P1.
Theoretically P2 by the end of this. Depending on when Benz comes in, could end up P1.
I think he will be P1 on track, because you're going to be stationary for at least 30 seconds, right? There's the leader. P2, just coming out of turn 3. No, I don't think he will. Actually, I don't think he's close enough. I'm trying to work out. It's all very confusing. My ACC race control is doing weird things with the timing.
I think it's not happy about the fact that there's people cycling through pit stops.
Yeah, it doesn't like it when people have to make a pit stop, which is like a standard thing in racing. But so from what I can see, I think the number 9 car is about a minute behind on track. So
through the pit stops,
Kiryu Benz will stay in front. The question is, how long are they going to be in the pit lane? Oh, someone's round on pit lane entry. Who's that?
That's a good place to be.
Let's turn around on the pit lane entry. It's the number 18 car. I'm assuming attempting to come into the pits and looped it. No, they decided to stay out on track.
They just looped on the way out of the.
They're now parked on the inside, waiting for other people to go past. Very good, very good racing from them. In all fairness. So yeah, Jonathan Seville now finds himself in a relatively clear pocket of air. There's not loads of cars around him at the moment. He is about to come up on some traffic up ahead, but I think he managed to box into a decent gap, and that's allowed him to keep some consistently fast pace.
Yeah.
Across his stint so far.
Well, this one may not. This may still be another 2 3/4 hours before this washes out as to who's made the right call. How is our friend Mac doing? Mac is down in 40th.
Yeah, that 666 car has taken some beatings from other people, from what I can tell.
My first 2 stints, it just got beaten up. What little rear diffuser that car has, by the end of my second stint, didn't exist anymore.
Yeah, that is unideal.
No, it leads to some very lively handling characteristics.
Jonathan Seville has managed to go P1 overall. He is ahead of Philip Ballabender as Philip comes out of the pit lane. He's got about 6 seconds on him.
That might be a pretty good call towards the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely, that might work.
That very much might work.
Right, I am going to go and get my dinner, so I'm going to be relatively radio quiet for the next 10 minutes or so whilst I eat. But I will be back as soon as possible.
Not a problem. Enjoy having some food. We will do our best to try and keep track of. Oh, what on earth is going on here? 500 is getting far. That looks like there is the. Oh, that's confusing. There is all of the Maseratis. They're all basically the same colour together. On track, I was just trying to work out what was going on there. Looks like they're catching up with the GT2 Audi track marker there. So, what else have we got going on? Leader is going through some traffic. Seville, that is a very tidy 6-second lead they have now. And a further 14-second back for car 888 as well. So, pit stops are coming out now, and it's jumbled the order quite well. Like I say, this car is a little bit out of sync, so it will have to work its way. It will pit before everybody else, but where it will cycle back through towards the end of the race is anybody's guess. What else? Who else is running close? Yeah, that is 21-29, 22-20, 22nd, 23rd are strung out a little bit. 10th and 11th are getting pretty close together. That is Verona and Hitch, car 39, car 88. They are running line astern with each other. I think that is Verona getting past Hitch in the Mercedes GT2. They seem to be pulling away now, so unfortunately missed that one. What else have we got going on? That is car 297 and car 501. Solan and Malik are getting rather friendly with each other as well. And making good. Looks like they might have got past and are making good their escape. To pass car 81 has 10-second penalty. Have a quick look to see who has 10-second car 81 causing collision with car 720 lap 114. And skip us with 10 seconds is car 1, no, hang on, car 75 is the other one that was looking for. That one. Cars 75. Causing collision at car 40, lap 114 as well. Wonderful. So, they are currently only, with the exception of 777, who is now in the pits. Is that the one that had issues earlier? I'm trying to remember now. As we have the car 61 lap down, Dyer coming out of pits by the looks of things. That is impressive. Don't know what happened there, but they have come back up come back out the pits, and they are 59, 60 odd laps down, and going to see what they can do to recoup that. I don't know if that's damage or whether that is some technical issues their end. That is a big stop for them. Second 27. This is two GT2s. KTM closes up well and truly on the Audi in car 72 in 26th, as the Audi gets a better drive out the corner, going up the hill to the hairpin, and kind of runs away a little bit, but that Audi is going to catch up. Ooh, Audi getting up behind the Mercedes GT3 there, and makes a little bit of contact. What is going on there? Again, very much seeing the horsepower difference between these cars. Coming out of the hairpin, that Audi has just driven up behind the Mercedes, and we'll probably see that Mercedes run away a little bit through this middle section of the track, as it is very much a fast pair of left-handers that bring you back down towards the back of the pit straight through turn 5, 6. Ooh, looks like Mercedes is diving for the pits. That nearly caught the Audi out quite badly there, as it tried to turn in for the apex and realised there was a slow-moving Mercedes on there. That has now let the KTM catch back up, so that has actually had a bit of a better drive out the corner and is dragging up behind. Not quite close enough to do anything in the braking zone, but they are definitely looking to try and make some sort of move fairly shortly on that Audi if they can make it happen. This is one of the things where back markers, traffic giveth, traffic taketh away. You can make up a chunk of time, but you can also lose a big chunk of it, as well as the car 82 catches up with those two. They are looking to be a lap down and possibly trying to get a lap back on those two cars to start getting back into the fight. So again, this is something that will make their lives a little interesting, having a back marker coming back through the field. Ooh, we have a yellow flag for car 124 pointing in the wrong direction, coming out of turn 5, turn 6. Oh, well avoided by that Mercedes. That could have gone much worse, but that is okay. That is the so they are making them back along on their way. Let's get back to that Audi KTM battle, as that is very much healthy up. Like I say, these cars don't have a huge amount of aero wash, but the KTM being very, very good in the corners, but the Audi having a little bit more horsepower. It looks like the KTM can definitely get on its brakes a lot earlier than the Audi. Oh, that was nearly an absolute massive accident. Who was that? That was car 124 again, pointing in the wrong direction. Got out of, I think got a little bit loose coming out the first corner, and then proceeded to loop it straight through the middle of that battle. Well done to all drivers involved for not getting collected in that. I've certainly been in that situation before, and it is terrifying suddenly seeing a car exit stage left from stage right, cross in front of you. So let's catch back up with where we were. Actually, that has now given the Audi a little bit of a break, because I think the KTM will have had to have got out of that one and may need some clean underwear after the pit stop. So it also looks like in all of that, the Maserati has got through as well. So that Maserati is coming back through the field and trying to unlap themselves, has made their way back through the past the KTM. So that will now be seeing blue flags. They've got to be a little bit careful that they can escape. They need to try and escape away reasonably quickly. Otherwise, they're going to have to give that track position back because of the blue flags. Now the other advantage is if they start trying to get past Audi, that brings it back into the fight with this KTM. That has kind of gone quiet for a minute. We'll catch up with that in a little while. Who else is getting close with each other? There's all a bunch of big gaps down there. 7 seconds between first and second. Looks like that's still 14 seconds. Ooh, we have car 501 and car 500 are both back up together now for 5th and 6th places respectively. That's rather satisfying, seeing 500 in front of 501. Now, can they redress that balance and put it the other way around? They are definitely running very, very well, running very quickly. This is when it gets tricky. Don't let the red mist descend, and don't take out your teammates, because they will not be happy. So, car 500 seems to be getting away, so that might be the other way around, that 500 has just got past 501? May have missed that, I do apologise. That looks like 500 is making a reasonable escape, so that will, by the looks of things, be that one done, but we'll see if traffic... Ooh, we have yellow flags for car 18 down in 41st is pointing the wrong way on pit exits. I'm assuming that he's got that up onto the curbs. Judging by the tyre marks on that, that got up onto the sausage curb and looped it. They and it left and ended up in the grass there. Hopefully they have avoided the barrier and any major damage. I mean, most of these cars are certainly started by this point in the race with 2.5 hours to go. Some of them are looking pretty good. They're all starting to look somewhat disgusting and covered in rubber and debris and all sorts by this point. You can really see it on some of the lighter coloured cars. They are getting utterly filthy with bits of rubber pickup and a general track-based dendritis that you pick up with these races. Half a second, we have two of the McLarens. 420 Hertz and Sipos, car 81, are having a look at each other by the looks of things. I'm managing to do this, I'm managing to miss what's actually going on. Although it looks like Sipos is trying to catch back up through the brakes there. Whether they can manage to get off the corner, ran over the sausage curb, so they have not had a great drive on the way out of there. So we shall see how that, 6 tenths back, so we'll see how that progresses. Again, like I said, that might have just been Hertz getting ahead, and is now trying to drive away. Ooh, that battle with the Audi is... Yeah, they're not going to be thankful for the fact that we saw that. That Audi got very sideways coming out of turn 1. And with the KTM now coming back up behind, the Maserati looks like it has got through now, so that car down in 31st but is trying to unlap itself and get back up through the field as best as it can. And with 2.5 hours to go, potentially, depending on what happens to the people's penalties and what have you, pit stops and damage, they can keep the nose clean, they might be able to pick some places back up here. Looks like the KTM just doesn't have straight line speed that Audi does. Audi can just pull away and pull a gap. I'm not sure quite what that KTM's struggling with, but it's definitely not as quick as it should be. So I pushed the wrong button and skipped away from exactly what I was looking for. Yeah, that Audi is definitely able to pull away a lot better than KTM can. So it looks like it's gapped it back away now. We'll see as we have yellow flags for car 35, nearly ending up in the pit lane. Managed to get back out on track without too much issue. Looks like the it looks like they may have looped it on their own. Just got a little bit sideways going through that penultimate corner and run in. I think what we're starting to see now is drivers that have been out there a little while are starting to make mistakes because I think they're getting tired. Those that are on doubles, you get into doubles or even possibly triples, you get into the second and third stints and you start getting tired. Mistakes are really easy to make. All of these cars, you're having to concentrate really, really hard. This many cars on this size of track, I mean, it's barely a minute and a half a lap for the fast cars, minute 33, 35 for the slower cars, and we're still running with 42 cars on track. So that is, yeah, that's a lot to be looking out for. Ooh, as we have a slow-moving McLaren by the looks of things. That is car 75 Forza. In the McLaren there, getting a little bit out of shape. I think possibly having to let some back markers go as our friend Mac in the commentator's car manages to get back past, and by the looks of things is trying to make their way back up through the field. Unfortunately, a little bit stymied and has lifted out of that and let them go back past. Hopefully it's not having too horrible of time out there at the moment and enjoying things. We'll find out when he comes back on comms a little bit later after this stint. We will just pop back and see how some of these battles are doing. Skipos and Skipos has managed to pick themselves up a 10-second penalty as they run spectacularly wide there and let Hurt back through by the looks of things. So possibly a bit of a dive under brakes there and has tried to get past and it has not worked. Last 10 seconds there on the next pit stop, so that looks like that's going to drop them out of contention with this battle now. After the pit stop, they are going to need a pretty big run past and to run away a little bit to hold their position upon the pit stops, but it's certainly not stopping them giving it a go, trying to make up for the time that they've lost.
No, absolutely, and I think, you know, it's difficult. Receiving a penalty can get you really down when you're a driver. Seeing it pop up, it kind of feels like it can be quite easy to get into the mindset of what's the point in pushing if I've got a 10-second penalty coming my way, which could be a really hard mindset to get out of as well. But obviously, the more you can put in the consistent fast lap times with a 10-second penalty, the less the 10-second penalty is going to impact you in the long run. You know, so it is vital that drivers are able to push on and move past those penalties when they do happen. And I think where you might be about to see a position change between the sister Forza Italia cars.
I was going to come back to those two because they have been running very close together. I keep wanting to call them the Castrol cars because, like, it's going to go back a little while, but the old Castrol
yes, I
Super
know.
GT.
Yeah, I know the car you're talking about. I absolutely know the car you're talking about. But what I wanted to... Oof, hello.
That was nearly a nibble on the back end there. 501.
So, the 501 car at the moment, A, is running faster, more consistent lap times, but B, is making far less mistakes. The number 500 car ahead of him has been slidey, a little bit off track, missing some apexes here and there around the lap. And yeah, it's really costing him.
Yeah, I'm relatively new to this. Is there any way of seeing what the how did you find the stint timers? Because it might be if 500 is on a
500 is on a shorter stint timer right now. The 500 boxed after the 501 car. No, the 501 car is currently 44 minutes into their stint. The number 500 car is only 33 minutes into their stint. So 10 minutes fresher on tyres.
Was there any way of checking when they last swapped over? Because I have not spotted whether they swapped drivers. Because if 500 is on a double, whilst they're not as far through their stint, it might be a driver that's struggling a little bit more with the physicality of these cars to drive.
No, Mateus was in the 500 car at the last pit stop. But the 501 car has had a driver change last time out.
Right, fair enough.
If you want to know, I'm assuming you've got ACC race control open.
Yes, I've only had a couple of times, excuse me, a couple of times commentating, so I'm still learning everything that's going on with all this.
Yeah. So at the moment, you're on view race, right?
Yes.
Hit the right-hand arrow button next to view race, and just click through the options. View statistics, and then at the end of view statistics is the stint timer. How long they were stopped in the pit lane for, how long they were in the pit lane for overall, and how many pit stops they've made.
Because I had so much other stuff open on my screen, I'm just going to put that full screen. Aha, I see.
Yeah, it's a handy little counter thing, isn't it?
On this part. Stop. Yeah, so it looks like.
Yeah, so the last driver in. No, that's a lie. They both had a driver change last time out.
Yeah.
Because it was Pavel Jarzbalski was in the 500 and Proknika was in the 501. So they've both changed to their second driver.
Okay. Fair enough. So it might just. I mean, part of it might be a driving style thing. Like I say, it also depends on who's had more time in these cars. We've not had this very long. Was it end of last week that
12 days
David
ago,
actually got, who's our third driver between me, myself and Matt, got it at the end of last week.
Yeah.
Or end of last week, middle of this week. So it's had very little time in these cars to really get the hang of them. So if it's somebody like that who's really not had a lot of time in the cars, I can completely understand why they're getting a bit sideways.
Yeah, absolutely. Although saying that, last time out, the number 500 car did a 1:29.3, which is not a hanging about lap time at all.
No. However, if they're not able to put the lap times as consistently together, then that may hamper them over the long run. Having said that, the gap has opened back out as we have yellow flags for car 124.
124 car again. These guys just getting into some sticky situations.
Like they're getting on the gas on the curves, looking at that, and the car's just looping around.
Yeah, possibly a little bit in the gravel, and with the TC, with the TC at 1 or even TC off, possibly in that Maserati, it is prone to the occasional spin. Almost drives into the leader. God,
ooh, that nearly went very wrong.
My heart just.
Something tells me the leader probably didn't really notice the 124 on the side there.
And here we go. We got a little bit of a.
I haven't. Who is in that car at the moment? 124.
Got a battle going on here. Actually, that's.
I'm trying to remember who it was who was doing the single driver stint.
Is it possibly Raterer who is a single? I will have a look down our entry list and I will find out. No, that's a 3-team entry. That's a 3-driver entry. I don't think we've got anyone running. Oh, Angel in the 211 car.
Yes, I was going to say there is at least. I did look
is a
down
solo entry. So is
Sebastian
Picano in the 322 BMW. They are the only 2 single driver entries that I can see on our list. Indeed, they are at the moment the only single car entries that are still running, at least. They may have been.
There it is. I mean, I can see why you'd take the BMW. It is a fairly relaxed car to drive, so if you're going to do 6 hours on your own, it's probably the better option of them.
Yeah.
But 6 hours in a GT2 on your own is
pain.
Ouch.
Pain and ouch.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think I can sum it up any better than that. That is exactly what it is. It is pain and ouch.
that is.
And we're going to see Philip Balavender here, the P2 car, just trying to get his way through some of this traffic. Some GT2, some GT3. And this is allowing Jonathan Seville up the front just to extend the gap a little bit more.
They're just managing to extend that lead. I mean, to be fair, it's been about 7.5 seconds since they came up.
Since that pit
it was
stop,
about 6 seconds, wasn't it? So they've gained about a second on them through traffic. So, I mean, that time, if you get caught at the wrong point with some traffic, that time can just disappear.
Let's have a look at what the gap is as he comes across the line. The gap is 9 seconds across the line. It was.
Ooh. Why? Okay, there's various things that aren't updating as quick in various places.
Yeah, so Jonathan Seville last time was 1.4 seconds faster than Balabanda as he was dealing with that lap traffic. Jonathan Seville possibly got slowed down a little bit this lap by a GT2 backmarker. Car 18 has gone around.
Yeah, again.
Car
okay,
18
fair enough.
gone around on the exit of turn 1. And we've lost another car. The 124 car also around at turn 1. Have those two guys come together?
The same corner.
No, that's... sorry, he's up at turn 3, the 124 car.
Yes.
Stop reversing. Thank you. Oh no! Turn your traction control back up.
I'm sorry, I'm
and
making
try
all
again.
sorts of horrible noises because this is...
Turn your traction
This
control
is a
up.
textbook example of what not to do.
Turn your traction control up. Don't try. Please just rejoin. Wonderful. There we go.
Take green out, put it on the side, tell it to shut up for a minute whilst you actually think about what you're doing. It really is. Oh, we have a pit visitor car. 555. It's another of the... keep wanting to call it a capital car because I haven't learned the name of the...
Pavel. No, that's the
Pavel.
Forza Italia. Oh, it's another Forza Italia car.
Yeah, there is a lot of them. That is Pavel?
Pavel, yeah, Pavel.
Oh, no, that's not going to get confusing. As we also look like I didn't quite see what it was because I saw it flick up as a yellow flag. Car 18 causing yellow flags down on the exit of turn 3 as well. So around turn 3. So I think possibly just ran it in a bit deep, being in the Mercedes GT2 there. Also has a drive-through to serve, as does
The 91 car.
Yeah, I was about to try and pronounce the name.
yeah,
I don't know if
Sabi.
you have the first name, but...
I would assume it's Sabi.
yeah.
First name is Joseph. Wonderful.
Ah. Nice and easy. So yeah, Joseph there picking up the drive-through, as has Sipos. You had a 5-second penalty as well.
Oh, and
Forza
second
still
as
at a
well
10-second
in the number
penalty
7
as well.
AMG, sorry. The number 7 AMG GT2 has also got a drive-through. He's serving his now. Artem second in the HRT. And Mercedes, I'm assuming this is to serve the drive-through rather than to make a pit stop. And a drive-through here is a long drive-through because the speeds around this track are so high, you lose a lot of time trundling down this pit lane on the 50 km/h limit.
Yeah, I think this probably makes it into third as the worst place to get drive-throughs and stop goes.
The number 501 car. In contact, I think that might be Mac. It is. It's the 666 car that he's had contact with. Mac off in the gravel. I don't think there was anything Mac could do there. It looked like the number 501 car went very weirdly to the outside, coming into turn 5, which is not the recommended place to go, for sure.
Back gave space, and then, no, I see what happened. Let one car through, didn't know that there was another car coming through, because they both look basically the same, so thinking it's the same car. And, yeah, I just did the replay on that one. Looks like he just got a bit caught out with two cars. It's very easily done when running and you're keeping an eye out, because you think, oh, one's gone past, I'll let the other one, and not notice the other one and come across on him. So I think that might be what's happened there, is it's unintentionally come across on a car that hadn't been spotted. Max managed to get it up to 38, so well done, Subset.
We've lost a couple of drivers at the tail end of the field.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
which I think has possibly just pushed them up a couple of places.
Oh, car 900, a couple of penalties coming through there. What is going on with my screen? I did a replay and now it's doing all sorts of weird things. Let's just return to garage.
Yes, I would recommend that. Return to garage and run it again.
Car 900, where is that one? Car 900 picking up 10. Brown has managed to pick up the owned cars, has picked up 10 seconds worth of penalties.
Yeah, we've got a few cars with 10 seconds to serve at their next pit stops. I think I'm going to be heading off before too much longer. I can't remember when Lantern said he'd be back in the pit
going on anymore, so I'm going to hang on here unless Matt comes back and go, you should be in the car next or something. So
no,
I might just go and have a...
Davide's running the middle from 7 till 8, which is the next stint. But I can only be here for about another 10 minutes and then I've got to run off. So we might go radio silent for a little bit, chat. We are going to be streamless, unfortunately, just for... it'll only be for about 5 minutes until Lantern comes into the pit lane to make his pit stop and switch over into the capable hands of Davide Mandalesi, one of our regular drivers. If you've been following Toga for a while, you'll know the man that I'm talking about. Davide Mandalesi has been driving across a couple of our championships for about a year now, and is more than capable at the hands of any GT car from what I've seen so far.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna... Before you hop off, I am going to jump in and just check with the other two as to what's going on, because I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just see when I'm next back in the car, and whether I will be back in for the next stint to the end of the race, or what's going on with a couple of hours to go. So, apologies if we do go a bit quiet, that is what's going on.
Yeah, so with just over 2 hours to go now in this race, and Jonathan Seville will ping up to him, shall we, in the Onid times LFM times RTO car, is leading the way, the number 192 Maserati GT2. Brilliant to me. I love the fact that we've got a GT2 car actually leading the field. Being P1 genuinely on pace and strategy, which is just brilliant as far as I'm aware. I love the fact that the openness of this field and the closeness of pace between the GT2 and the GT3 cars is allowing for things like that to happen. You know, it's absolutely brilliant. Battles coming here for P29 and P28 as Ben Brown in the number 900 car, they do have some penalties, is looking to get past Van Vekel as well. Nothing much going there at the moment for Ben Brown in the number 900. Oh, sorry chat. Sorry chat, I'm a bit tired, I must admit. Nothing going there for the number 900 car at the moment. Looking to get past the number 82, another of the Audi GT2 cars that's racing in this field, and both of those cars looking to get past the number 721 Porsche GT3, which actually, I think Van Vekel might get past that Porsche GT3 coming towards turn 3 this time out. The overspeed is immense for the Audis. And both of the Audi GT2s clear Robert Rosculet in the Endurance FRL number 30 Porsche. And Jonathan Seville comes into the pit lane. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out. I expect it's going to be around that kind of P6 area. if not slightly further back. Yeah, I reckon he'll come out in P6 because P7 is a further ways back.
Yes, we have first pit. There we go. So Saville's pitted just before the hour by the look of things.
He pitted. He because of the offset pit stints for them. He was at 1 hour and 3 minutes on his stint timer.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to beat Daniel Hearn. So he's P6, right? I'm trying to work out whether they've just cooked a brilliant strategy here, because if they run 65,
because hour and 5,
they're going to get
to
bang on to the end of the race.
And then that's one to go to the end of the race, and that means they basically make their last pit stop first.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they can, and they've just proven that they can get back to the front of the field after having a pit stop. After having an early pit stop, they can get back to the front of the field and they can lead. They might have genuinely just cooked.
Everybody else will be on cold tyres trying to get back up to speed.
They'll
already be on hot tyres and up to speed.
Yeah, these guys at Onid LFM RTO may have just cooked a brilliant strategy for the rest of this race.
Yeah,
because this is going to.
It was looking like that earlier. Because across the whole race you lose. Half an hour you lose.
In the pit lane, I think 25 minutes.
Yeah, so you lose half a stint. So they put in, I'm assuming they short fueled and just volley stinted it at one point. And just burn a bunch of drive time and a set of tyres just going for it. And then, as a result, this has just put them back onto time to make that last pit stop first. Downside being is anybody that comes out later is going to be lighter on fuel with fresh tyres. So if they don't have a big enough lead, they may get eaten up. We may see this come down quite close, as that gap could get eaten up by people on fresher tyres with lower fuel. So it's not over at the front of the field in the slightest.
No, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see. I think, obviously, new driver in the car in the name of Jordan Watson. And it's going to be crucial that these guys are able to run consistent, clean, fast laps like they were with the last driver at the wheel, because that was crucial to them. Unfortunately, chat, it is time for me to be departing. I have got to run. I've loved being back in the commentary box, and I've loved being able to do some more commentary with Zeta. But unfortunately it is time for me to go. Max should be back on. I'm just going to have a look.
Max is coming back. He's just finishing his stint off, so he'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm going to hang around and do some continuity as people jump in and out. So I will still be around. I don't have any of the streaming stuff, so the stream will go dead unless Hayden has it up and running, because I believe he's in comms box, just on mute at the moment. So he might be able to get it all back up and running. Otherwise, it will go a little bit quiet on Twitch and YouTube for a bit before Matt comes back and is back in for the rest of the race. And I believe, Davide is taking E666 to this finish. So I may drop him a message, jump back in when Matt's back in, and see if he wants to, if he's too knackered and wants to take the last stint over, because I've been out the car now for a couple of hours. So I will try and be around as much as I can. Like I say, enjoy being back in the car and have fun.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Right, thank you everyone in chat. I will see you sometime in the next couple of weeks, depending on when I've signed myself up to do commentary, because I genuinely can't remember, put it all in the calendar and immediately forgot what my availability was. So I will see you all sometime in the next week, as you will with Zeta, I expect as well. Thank you all for dropping in and being so kind and wonderful to us as we've worked our way through what has been, well, yet another chaotic hour here at the Red Bull Ring in the mountains of Austria. I've been Ollie, she's been Zeta. Thank you very much for joining both of us, and we will see you